Your shoulders peel every single summer. 15 minutes, and you're lobster red. Your friends just go brown. So what's wrong with your skin? Nothing. That burn is a map. It shows where your people came from and which sun they were built under. The moving sun burns then tans. You go red on day 1. By day 4, you're brown. Same order every holiday, every year, your whole life. You've stopped being surprised by it. Your ancestors rebuilt their skin twice a year. Pale in February, dark by July. You aren't running one setting. You're running a factory that reopens every spring. Here's what's happening under there. Sunlight breaks the DNA inside your skin cells. That break is the signal. The damage is what starts the build. Your cells answer by making pigment. Then they carry it up and stack it in a curved cap, sitting right over the nucleus, directly on top of the DNA that got hit. Researchers call it a supernuclear cap. It's a helmet, one per cell, and your body only builds it after the first hit lands. That system was built for one belt of the planet, the middle latitudes, the band that runs from the Mediterranean up through Central Europe, and the same band across Asia and North America. The sun doesn't hold still there. July is as strong as almost anywhere on Earth. February is close to nothing. A fixed setting can't cover both ends of that, and pigment isn't free. Making it costs energy, and it costs cell damage to trigger. Running full armor year-round in a place that only needs it for 4 months is a waste your ancestors couldn't afford. So the build that won was the one with a switch. The problem is the switch runs on a slow clock. It needs days. Your ancestors got a spring that arrived over 6 weeks. You get a flight to Cancun in February and 8 hours on a beach. The factory hasn't opened yet. That's the burn. And there's a cost nobody tells you. A tan blocks only a fraction of what's coming. You paid for it in broken DNA and got back a thin helmet. Now, the next sun. Because this whole system needs pigment to build with. Some lines don't have it. Not because the switch broke, because the sun they lived under walked away. The sun that left burns in 15 minutes. 15 minutes in the sun, and you're already burning. You've been burned through a white t-shirt. You've been burned on a cloudy day in April. And you don't tan. You go red, you peel, and 2 weeks later you're the exact shade you started. What you get instead is freckles. Your line comes from the edge of the map, the far north, where the sun quits for half the year. Your ancestors spent their lives chasing what little of it was left. Your skin still makes pigment. It just makes the wrong kind for a beach. One kind is brown-black. That's the real shield. The other is red-yellow, and researchers call it pheomelanin. Most people carry both. Your line runs heavy on the red, and the red one doesn't just protect less. Put it under strong sun and it starts working against you. It soaks up the light and throws off unstable oxygen, and that's the same stuff that tears up DNA. So the factory still switches on. It just ships a pigment that stops almost nothing and drops it in patches instead of a sheet. That's a freckle. Pigment that arrived in clumps. Now picture Scotland, Denmark, southern Sweden. Up there, the sun stops making vitamin D in human skin for more than 6 months a year. And dark pigment under that sky is a blackout curtain on a window that was already dark. Then farming arrived and made it worse. Wild game and fish carry vitamin D. Wheat and barley don't. The food stopped covering the gap in the same centuries the sky did. This is recent. Scientists pulled DNA out of prehistoric skeletons and watched the pale genes spread, hard and fast, across Europe and Western Asia over the last 5,000 years. Your skin is younger than writing. Nobody selected you to burn. The North just stopped killing the men who did, and you live in a world with cheap flights. The people who get skin cancer most are pale people standing in strong sun, thousands of miles from the sky they were built under, which raises a question, because going pale happened more than once, and the other time, the switch survived. The second answer, tans easily. You go gold. Day 1, day 2, it just deepens. You've never peeled in your life. When everyone else is comparing sunburns, you've got nothing to add. You got the version that does both. Color when the sun is up, and none of it when the sun is gone. That winter fade is your skin opening up to catch what little light is left. The switch runs on an alarm, and it's worth knowing which one. Sunlight breaks the DNA inside your skin cells. A protein called P53 finds the break. P53 is the damage cop. It decides whether a broken cell gets repaired or shut down before it can turn into cancer. And that is the protein that orders your tan. Your tan is built by your anti-cancer system. Now, the part that makes this section, pale skin was not invented once. It happened at least twice, in 2 corners of the world, to 2 groups of people who never met, and they didn't use the same genes. Scientists compared the pigment genes of Europeans and East Asian and found different sets doing the same job. Same destination, different roads. The two roads didn't arrive with the same equipment. The far northwest of Europe went pale and lost the tanning switch on the way. There was nothing up there for it to do. The other road went lighter and kept the switch. You came down that second road. Your ancestors got their sun a few hours at a time, most days. Under a sky that was gray half the year, their skin had all spring to catch up. You get yours in 1 week, on a beach, at noon, and there is a cost to never burning. You don't get the warning. A burn is an alarm you can feel. It hurts, it ruins your evening, and it drives you inside. You never get that. You sit out all afternoon feeling fine while the damage stacks up underneath. And researchers are blunt about what a tan is worth. Moderate protection, not a wall, which leaves one group we haven't touched. The people who never needed a switch at all. The standing sun never burns. Nothing happens. You've stood out in the worst of it all day, no shade, and come home the same. You've never bought sunscreen. You've watched other men go red in an hour and wondered what that even feels like. You're the original. Every other build in this video is a change made to this one. Your skin runs full coverage all the time. No switch, no waiting, no season. The pigment is already there when you wake up, packed into your skin cells and sitting over the DNA like a permanent lid. And here is what it was protecting. There is a nutrient in your blood called folate. Your body needs it to build new cells. So it matters most exactly when a body is being built. In a pregnancy, folate is what closes the spine and the brain in the first few weeks. Miss it then, and the child does not develop properly. Strong sunlight destroys folate in the blood running through your skin. Read that again. Sunlight can reach into the vessels under your skin and break down the one nutrient a pregnancy cannot do without. That is the pressure. Folate runs out at conception when a child is being built. Cancer arrives at 60, long after your children are born, so it never had much say in this. The sun could end a bloodline at the very start, and that is what your skin was built against. So the equator ran one answer for a very long time. Near the equator, the sun stands almost straight overhead all year, and the strength barely changes between summer and winter. There was nothing to switch for. Full armor, permanently, and the line continues. Then some of those people walked north, and the armor that saved their children started costing them. The same pigment that blocks the sun blocks the good it does. Your skin needs sunlight to make vitamin D. Under a northern sky, there is barely any to work with, and dark skin needs far longer in it to make the same amount. In the UK, nearly 60% of Asian adults tested came back short on vitamin D. Under 20% of white adults did. Same sun, same country, different build, built for somewhere else. And that is the whole rule now. Guard the folate or catch the light. Every build in this video is one line's answer to that trade, except that some lines answered it twice. The return, tan's dark. You tan, and it goes deep, not gold. Brown, and it holds all year. You've never really burned, and nobody has ever thought to ask if you do. And when anyone explains your skin, they say the same thing. Your people have always lived under a strong sun. That's the part they get wrong. Your line left the strong sun. Then it walked back into it. Skin doesn't only get lighter over time, it runs the other way too. A group that had already gone lighter somewhere cool moves back into hard sun, and the dark versions of those pigment genes spread again, fast, because the pressure returned. Two of those journeys are on record. One group had spread across the north of the Indian subcontinent, already lighter than their ancestors, and pushed down into some of the strongest sun on the planet. Another had gone lighter across East Asia, crossed into the Americas, and kept walking south until they hit the equator again. Both walked into the same problem: folate and a sun strong enough to strip it. The exact problem their ancestors had solved and then let go. So they solved it a second time. Different genes, different continent, same answer. And this is where it gets useful to you. Your skin is a record of where your line has been, not a stamp of where it started. Pigment changes fast. It has changed more than once inside single bloodlines, and the researchers who mapped it say it's straight. Skin color is worthless for working out who anyone is related to. Two people can be the same shade and share almost nothing. Two people who look nothing alike can be close cousins. So the sun sets your skin. But how much sun you get isn't only about how far you are from the equator. There's one place on Earth where that breaks completely. The thin sky burns high up. You went up a mountain in winter and came down with a burnt face. Goggle marks. Red everywhere the goggles weren't. It was 30 degrees out and there was snow on the ground and you got burned anyway. Your skin was built for a certain amount of air above it. On that mountain, some of that air is gone. Think about what the air is doing. The sunlight that burns you has to come down through the whole atmosphere first. and most of it doesn't make it. Oxygen and ozone and water vapor absorb it and scatter it on the way down. The air is the filter. It's the only thing standing between the sun and your face. Climb, and you take some of the filter away. Same sun, less between it and you. Now put a whole population up there permanently. The Tibetan Plateau is the one place on Earth that breaks the rule every section so far has been running on. It sits far from the equator, but it's so high and the air is so thin that it takes more burning sunlight than anywhere else that far from the tropics. And Tibetans came out different because of it. Researchers measured the skin of more than 1,800 people across the plateau, in villages at 7,000 feet, 14,000, and 16,000. Two things showed up. Tibetans are darker to start with than lowland Chinese populations, and they tan harder on top of it. Then the pattern. The higher the village, the darker both the starting shade and the tan. Thinner air, more pigment, village by village going up the mountain. They found the gene doing it too, a version that turns up in Tibetans and almost nowhere else in the world, and it makes the body build more pigment. Your skin never got that. It was built at sea level and carried up to 11,000 feet for 1 week a year, in February, over snow that throws the light back up at your face. So, how much sun reaches you depends on more than the map, because there's one group who lived under the weakest sun on Earth and stayed dark anyway, and what saved them wasn't in their skin at all. The borrowed sun, dark without the sun. By every rule in this video, one group should not exist: the Arctic, northern Canada, Greenland, Alaska, the weakest sun on the planet, months of it gone entirely, and the people who have lived there longest stayed dark. Everything you've heard so far says that's impossible. Go north, lose the pigment, catch the light. That's how Scotland happened. The Arctic is further north than Scotland, and it went the other way. Here's what happened instead. Your skin makes vitamin D out of sunlight. That's the whole reason the north went pale. But sunlight was never the only place to get it. Fish carry it. Seals carry it. Whale and caribou liver is loaded with it. And that is exactly what people ate up there, every day, all winter for thousands of years. So the pressure never arrived. Nobody up there had to strip out their pigment to make vitamin D because they were eating it. The fish made the vitamin D. The people ate the fish. The sun still got in. It just came in through a meal. That's the borrowed sun. This build runs on two things: a sky and a meal. Their diet did the job their skin would otherwise have had to do, and it held that dark pigment in a place that should have taken it away. And it carries a cost no other build here has. Every other cost in this video is written into the body. This one sits outside it, in the food. Take that diet away, put in a modern one, and the pigment stays exactly where it is. A build still waiting on seal and fish, in a place with almost no sun, eating what everyone else eats. So that's 7 builds, 7 suns, and every one of them was solving the same 2 problems. Sunlight breaks down folate, the nutrient a pregnancy runs on. Sunlight also builds vitamin D. Pigment blocks both. So every line on Earth had to pick a side. Near the equator, guard the folate. Near the poles, catch the light. Everything else is a compromise between the two. One caution on those numbers. They were measured inside single countries, comparing people living under the same sky. Every one of these is the right answer to a different sky. Most of us no longer live under the one we were built for. And your skin shifts with the season and with age, so it was never fixed to begin with. So which one are you? Drop your burn time and where your family comes from. I am Noah, and I'll see you in the next video.